Good evening and welcome. Let's take a look at our top story. As India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi mulls extending the lockdown beyond April the 14th, in the daily briefing, the Health Ministry has highlighted the importance of lockdown and containment measures. So far, India has reported over 7,400 cases and 239 deaths. The number could have been much higher without lockdown and containment measures. Under Scenario 1, without lockdown and containment measures, the number of cases would have reached 2 lakh cases by the 11th of April. Now, that is today. By the 15th of April, the number of cases would have surged to over 8 lakh cases. Under Scenario 2, with containment measures but no lockdown, the number of cases would have reached over 45,000 cases by the 11th of April. And by the 15th, the number of cases would have surpassed over 1 lakh cases. Under Scenario 3, which is status quo, India has enforced both containment measures and a lockdown. So the cases have been restricted to over 7,400. Now, the Prime Minister will announce the decision over lockdown in a couple of days. But there is already an increased focus on containment zones that are being put under a hard lockdown. India has created over 1,200 containment zones. Maharashtra leads with over 400 zones, followed by Tamil Nadu with over 220 hotspots, from apartment blocks to entire districts. These 1,200 containment zones have become the battlefront for India. We are being joined now by WION's principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal. Good evening to you, Siddhant. Prime Minister Modi has held a meeting with all the chief ministers. What do we expect in terms of the outcome of this meeting? We know that many ministers have already called for an extension to the lockdown. And when are we expecting to receive a statement from the Prime Minister's office?
Well, Alison, a short while ago, the Prime Minister's office issued a release. In the release, there was a talk about the lockdown, which was the key priority of this meeting. This is the third time that the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is having video conferences with the chief ministers of all the states of India. And the key outcome is that it is now a done deal that there will be an extension of lockdown, something the feelers which were given last week as well. And it will be extended for 2 weeks. That is the message from the Prime Minister's office. The statement says that the consensus has been formed. It's only an official order which is being waited. But as of now, it is confirmed that the lockdown will be extended for 2 more weeks, in which it is expected that the peak will reduce. We know the Indian Prime Minister also mentioned, the PMO statement in fact mentions, attributing to the Prime Minister, that the next 2 to 3 weeks will be very important as India contains the entire crisis across the country. We know you have just stated the statistical analysis which was given by the Health Ministry officials just a short while ago at the daily 4 p.m. briefing, talking about had India not announced the strict lockdown measure, the number of cases by 15th of April would have touched 8 lakh people. That is a huge number of people. But as of now, India has been able to contain it at around 7,000 people with approximately more than 200 deaths. But the Indian Prime Minister during that conversation also talked about other issues as well, whether there are attacks against people from Northeast or attacks against the frontline workers which have been reported across the country, the doctors, the nurses, and also the economic impact. He said that it's an opportunity, this crisis gives an opportunity to be more self-reliant for the country, to make sure that India produces more of domestic content, and also talked about how India should be united in a joint national strategy to deal with this COVID crisis. We know the numbers have increased considerably if we look at relative numbers from just a single-digit number in the first week of March to approximately more than 7,000 numbers today. And the numbers are in fact doubling very, very fast. So that remains a top priority. But also the after effects, because post-COVID era will see major economic implications. This is something that has been talked about by the Indian leadership a lot. And of course, the ground messages are also the same, that the migrant workers, the poor people, are the worst impacted because of this lockdown.
Thank you very much.